Welcome to Purple Knight Games. So, the new data slate and the points update for 10th edition 40k has dropped. We know it's going to be bad for Genestealer Cults. How bad? Let's have a look. Hello there and welcome. So, I haven't looked at them yet. Let's have a look. We're going to jump in, have a look at the data slate, and then we're going to have a look at the points. And we're going to see how bad it is. I've had a little preview. The Better Watch article has just gone live. Yeah, so I've seen at least one change. Let's see how bad it's going to get. Let's jump on in. Here it is. The Balance Dataslate. Oh dear. So, we'll have a look at the core rules first of all and see how they affect cult. So, devastating wounds. I did see a bit of a preview of this. They've changed it from mortal wounds. They no longer do mortal wounds. Each time an attack is made with such a weapon, if that attack scores a critical wound, no saving throw of any kind were made against that attack, including vulnerable saves. Such attacks are only allocated to models after all other attacks made by the attacking unit have been allocated and resolved. Save throws cannot be made against critical wounds scored by this weapon. It's to stop essentially the splash of mortal wounds. So if you're doing something like 8 mortal wounds, that could kill. If you have a unit with all 1 wound, that kills 8 models. Where with this, 1 more guy would die 8 times. That's what they're changing. Right, what else has been changed then? This is just insane. Look at all this. This is just like bits and bobs all over. Fire Overwatch. Yeah, so now if that enemy unit is visible to your unit, you can shoot the enemy unit as if it were your shooting phase. So if it's not visible, you can't shoot it. So you target 1 unit from your army is within 24 inches of the enemy unit. Now we're eligible to shoot if it was your shooting phase. The thing is, it starts or ends a normal move. So even if you're charging from behind scenery, you will be visible at some point. So I'm not sure about that one. You cannot target a Titanic unit with this stratagem. I think the visible thing is to stop indirect fire. So you can't indirect fire. Restriction: you cannot target a Titanic. You cannot target a Titanic unit with this stratagem. Wow. So you can't overwatch a Titanic. Oh, you can't target it. Right. So Titanic. I thought for a second there you can't overwatch a Titanic unit. No, it's the other way around. You can't. Yeah. So Titanic unit cannot use Overwatch basically. So far, it's not really affecting cult. The devastating wounds only really affect Genestealers, and they're only going to do 1 damage devastating wounds. I don't think it's an issue at all. I can't think of anything cult-wise which is going to do huge amounts of devastating wounds to the point where it's going to be that's going to be detrimental. I think it's more of a benefit, if anything. So the same behaviors before you do it. As your automatic passes the battle shock test, you cannot use a stratagem more than once per battle round. Again. So tower models that are within ruins can see out of ruins, basically. Right, this is a big one. Well, I'm probably going to look at some of these guys in another video, but we're not going to bother with the inferior ones. I'm surprised that Eldari have only got 1 thing there. So what counts as a bolt weapon? Okay, interesting. I know that's something new though. It's all red stuff, isn't it? Well, yeah, here we are. So this is the change for Genestealer Cults. This is the thing that they've tried to do. Think of. I had a very big suspicion this would happen. So if you have actions Genestealer Cults, each time a unit with this ability is destroyed, roll a d6, adding 1 to the result if it's a battle line unit. So no longer adding 3. So on the 3 plus the comeback. And adding 1 to the result if it is the first or second battle round. So if you get earlier on, that's interesting actually, because it means that wouldn't affect just battle line units, wouldn't it? Because it's a comma. So if you use a battle line unit, you add one, and you also had one if it's the first or second turn. On a 5+, add a new unit to your identical. Oh, now that's the big thing. So a 5+, but you get one if it's a battle line, so that'd be what, 4+, and if it's in the first two battle rounds, it'll be a 3+ for battle line, 4+ for everything else, and then from turn 3 onwards, it's a 5+ or a 4+ for battle line. So to make it much more difficult to get ambush markers on. Be interesting that change. I didn't expect them to change it to a 5+. I thought they'd keep it as a 4+. I expected them to change the add-in from a 3 to something else. I thought they'd change it to add-in 2 and just leaving it as a flat 2. But they've gone a lot harsher on that than I thought they would. But the thing is with units that come back, especially later on, because they come out in a big blob as well, because of the last update, they come on late game in a blob where they can't move, they can only shoot. Great, because they get the, they do get the faction rule, so they get to get sustained hits and ignore cover. Brilliant. But you can't put them too close to the enemy. You can't. Obviously, with the Nexus, you can move the blip tokens closer, which is great, or with 9 inches. But you can't really do it. You're still not in a position to really take advantage of things late game. And I don't think the ambush rule is as devastating as what some people think. It's not bad. It really isn't bad. But wow, changing that to a 5+. Oh my word, I'm doomed. So I've played 3 games so far. No, not many. It's during the summer. I work 2 different jobs. I work one of them being seasonal, and my other job is also very busy in the summer. So I have no time in the summer. I'll have more time over the winter to actually do more games. Out of 3 games, I have made 1 4+ roll. 1. At this rate, I'm not going to get any units ever back on the battle. But this is going to severely restrict how many battle markers get on. And bear in mind, you're a lot less likely to get them on, and they can still counter it. They can still move within 9 inches to get rid of them. That hasn't been taken out. So you'll be much stricter in what blip tokens you get. And second of all, you're going to be hugely restricted in, and they're still going to have the issues of fast armies that are just going to take blip tokens off. So this makes the cult ambush rule a lot more vulnerable, because you're going to have a lot less ambush markers going down, and they'll be a lot easier to remove. Yeah, we're going to see how this one plays out. Again, I don't think it's devastating, but it depends what they've done points-wise. If they've killed them with points as well, this is going to be devastating for Cult, and we'll probably see them drop quite far down. Which we're going to have a look at the points next. Oh dear. Oh dear. Let's have a look at the points, shall we? Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, I had to do a quick check to see what the original points were, to see what they are. So, at first, I looked at this, and the first thing was, oh, fucking hell. It's bad. That's what I'm saying. And there's changes I don't understand. So first up, Aberrant have gone up by, 20 points per 5 models. Why? So before it was 330 points for 10. Now it's 370. Look, I know they're good, but they were costed quite well. This seems a big overreaction. Aberrants are good, but the costing seemed quite good. They seemed quite balanced. Now they're a little on the expensive side. Really they are. I don't agree with that one at all. Abominant same cost. Achilles Ridge Runners have gone up by 10 points. Okay, the crossfire rule is quite good. I thought 75 points was very cheap for the originals anyway. That's not going to kill. Acolytes have gone up, what, 10 points for 5 models, or 2 points each? So essentially 17 points a model. Acolyte hybrids. Now, they haven't stopped the bombing, essentially. So, unless I've missed something, you can still drop down within 3 inches and bomb the pants out of things. You just got to pay more points to do it. And you're less likely to come back now. Also, not you're not guaranteed to come back. So that's okay because the bombing runs quite the demolition charges are quite strong. Understand that. It's fine. This is another kick in the teeth. Why have Atlan Jackals gone up in points? Why are they now 18 points a model? They've gone up by 10 points for 5 models, 20 points for 10. Why? They were useless, in my opinion. They weren't useless. That's wrong. They had a use, but they already nerfed them last time round, so you couldn't use the Alpha Jackal with them to move around and do more mortal wounds. Why? They also have no durability at all. If you have 10 of them, you can't bring them back on because they don't fit in the 3-inch radius blob to get them back on. So I don't understand why they've gone up in points. I really don't. They're not great in combat. They're not great at shooting. They're just a fast unit. And now they can do mortal wounds and they stop moving, which is okay. You roll d6 per each model, 4 plus 2 mortal wound. So you're looking at what maybe with a unit of 10 you may get averaging 5 mortal wounds every time they stop moving, but they can't come back on because there's 10 of them. Biofigure's going up 10 points. Not quite sure on that one. You don't give lethal hits, and they're okay, but they're worth 60 points. This is another crazy. Why is the Clamorous gone up by 10 points? I don't know anyone uses a Clamorous. It's a bit of a joke unit. The Rock Grinder and the Goliath Truck, this also annoys me, have not gone down in price. They've stayed the same, despite the Goliath Truck being well overpriced compared to other transports. But it's going to stay the same price. Metamorph the same, Alpha's Jackal. The other thing is, well, they haven't amended the Jackal Alphas as saves. They've still got a save of 5. Not 5 plus, still just 5. So 6s don't save still. Still not rectified that. The Locust got 5 points to 45. They give Strike first. I don't think that's a huge issue. I really don't. Now there's another kick in the teeth. Neophytes are now 9 points a model. So they got by 10 points. It's harder for them to come back on. They are base units. Base. They hit on 4s with most things. Toughness 3, Strength 3, Leadership 7. They're very basic. They're over the basic. They die if they're sneezed at by anything with a decent weapon. Or half decent weapon. That's not so decent. Half decent weapon. Up by 10 points. I would understand this if they didn't change the ambush rule. But they're getting hit double whammy. This is hard. I know they've got 65 Henry rate, and people will be saying that's 65 Henry rate. Nexus has gone up 10 points, fair enough. Nexus is a very good character. Pyrrhaxel 85, fair enough. Primus has gone up 20 points to 90 points. Now I thought 70 points was cheap anyway, but I thought it'd go up to 80. 90 is it's a big jump. Especially since the character itself is nothing to ride home about. They're okay in combat. They have a pistol they can shoot with, but nothing. Not going toe to toe with most of the characters. I've done a Marine. I fought Marines and I fought Thousand Suns. The Primus couldn't go toe to toe with their characters at all. Got destroyed 1-on-1. Late game. I'm not saying I didn't throw them away. It's the fact that you get to reroll hits. That's what's adding 20 points on. Interesting. Pure strange Genestealers have gone down in points. They were 90 points for 5, 180 points for 10, now 170 points. They've gone down by 1 point per model. So yeah, Acolyte Hybrids and Genestealer, Pure Genestealers are now the same price. Interesting. The Saboteurs are up 10 points. Again, fair enough. I've I've used as a saboteurs, they're very, very good. A free grenade strat, demolition charges, once per battle mortal wounds, 55 points is very cheap for them, 65 points is a fair increase. So, wow. Just wow. Roll change and points increase. What the fuck? So then, what do I think of the data slate and the points increase? Oh, crap is what I think at the moment. Now, I expected them to be hit by points. I didn't expect them to do the double whammy of really restricting the cult ambush rule. I mean, come back in a 5+, you get a +1 if you're in the first 2 battle rounds, and you get a +1 if the battle line. So it makes it easier earlier on, but later on it's very unlikely. It's unlikely things are going to come back. Which is, you could say, it's fairer. But then whacking on points increases as well. I thought they'd go for one or the other. I was expecting acolytes first, but neophytes to get a points increase and the ambush rule to hurt them as well. I think it's a bit over the top. Atlan Jackals, why have they gone up in points? Why? They're just not usable now. And the whole thing with aberrants were well costed. They were hard. They were tough, durable, and hit hard. Great, they were a good unit, but they were well costed. Why have they gone up in points? It's a bit annoying. But yeah, I say 65% win rate. It was going to be a hard hit. I think they've gone a little bit too hard. Most of the points changes are fair. I don't like the fact that Primus is now. I was like, they won't make it more than the Patriarch, but they have 90 points now for the Primus. So yeah, tough day for Genestealer Cult. The Farm Emperor is probably, crying a little bit into his Weetabix. But I don't think this is devastating. It's going to take a couple of weeks for the dust to settle to see how big a change this has. But essentially, in most lists, you'll be taking out maybe a unit. And if you have Atlan Jackals, just take them out because they seem overpriced these days. It's hard. Everything has gone up. Everything you'd use has gone up. Does it make Metamorphs viable? Because they're now a little bit, they've stayed the price. Not really. But on the plus side, surprisingly, Pure Chain Genestealers come down price, which is on points, which is great. 5 points cheaper. Sorry, 10 points cheaper, which is good. I think that's a nice change. Wasn't expecting it. I thought they were okay in their points cost. Not really making it in many lists unless you're really going for strong alpha strikes. So yeah, the points increase on Neophyte is going to hurt, along with the ambush rule. No more 4+ and for everything else, and Battle Line 1 for free. Yeah, Battle Line are going to have to put 4 and 3+s now, depending on how early the game is. If you're rolling badly, you're going to get no one back on now, which is a bit harsh. If you may have a good game, roll well, and it makes very little difference. It puts a lot more emphasis on the dice rolling now. You can't just guarantee your battle line going straight on. It may need a little bit of change tactics, maybe more use of the icon ward to give you guys a bit more durability. And the other thing is, maybe the Megas could come down in points cost because they're not great, but yeah, they're only 50 points. So some changes were expected. Acolytes were going to go up, but it's a bit harsh. Aberrant's going up by the amount that they have is quite bad, as is the Neophytes going up in points cost, and Atlan Jackals. But hey ho, we knew it was going to be hard. That's just how hard they've hit. Let's just wait and see what happens going forward. I will probably put another video out at some point. We'll look over what the Brood Brothers have done and the other inferior factions. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. I hope if you're a cult player like me, you're not crying too hard or upset too much. It's fine. We'll be fine. We can still bomb things infinitely, sort of, on a 3+, 4+. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.